Good morning. It's today is Wednesday the 5th of September, and I'm down here at our local cafe because I realise this is a real good place to do videos. So this video is for our invited guests that we're inviting to the world's first Sustainable Nation Building Industry Conference. Right now, when we did the planning for it, we were going to run it at a conference centre here in Perth. In actual fact, I went to several places, and then we realised with bringing in dignitaries from around the world, political leaders, lots of them, that we were going to have a nightmare with regarding security. Because when you move these dignitaries, you know, they're travelling in limousines, and the police have to go ahead and block off all the intersections as the limo comes through with the police escort and everything. Now that's very, very costly, you know, if you've got quite a lot of these political leaders and music superstars. So that's a threat. And you see, we use feng shui. Our corporation was incorporated on the perfect date for the feng shui, so that all our people who know, follow us with feng shui, know that it was incorporated on the right date. And the building that it was incorporated in is owned by a very wealthy Chinese businessman, and there are 6 Chinese banks in it, which means the feng shui is good, right? So that was another thing we did. Also, my home that I live in is very modest, but I haven't moved because I brought in a feng shui expert and he checked it when I moved in. He didn't speak much English, he spoke Chinese, but at the end of it he goes, "Feng shui good, never leave." That's about the most English he knew. That's all I need to know. So I've never moved in 16 years, right? It's like the best place to live. It's near a primary school, and I hear all the children walking past in the morning, all singing and dancing and chatting away. And it's lovely to have children in your neighbourhood making a racket twice a day as they come past. So it's great. And when I moved here, do a lot of old houses across the street now. It's all beautiful 2-storey mansions. It's great. So anyway, I got a bit off track there. Feng shui. We use feng shui. So the issue we have with this conference is the dangers related to bringing in all the VIPs, the dignitaries. A lot of danger bringing them here to Perth. So I thought about it. Well, we were going to live stream our university straight out of the top of the skyscraper anyway, all around the world to our followers who are aged 6 to 16. So I thought, you know, using virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and also hologram technologies. And then I thought, well, why not do it with the conference, right? And when I thought about it, and the feng shui expert said where we were going to run the conference was beside the river, and she says, look, you need to think about metal, and what you're doing, the project you're doing is related to metal. If you had that beside the river, the water is an enemy of the metal, so that's not good. Security. Oh, okay, no sweat. So then I brainstormed and thought, no, just live stream it out of the skyscraper, and they don't have to come here. But they can't tell the difference between whether they're there at our conference anyway, right? And then all the guest speakers, like if we want Al Gore to speak, we just beam them in, straight in as a hologram. Everybody can watch a hologram version. And with regards to Al Gore, I think the hologram's going to be better looking than Al Gore himself. So anyway, sorry Al. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're on a live stream, and any other guest speakers or the music superstars, we can beam them straight into the top of the skyscraper. That's to save us a heck of a lot of money on staying in these resorts or these hotels here in Perth. So there you go, that's the plan, and we'll deliver to the delegates, the political leaders. We'll send in a consultant with a $40,000 technology package with the latest laptop, right? It can handle virtuality, it's very, very fast. We'll send them on those, also all the virtual reality headsets and hologram headsets, so that they can watch our show, and the consultants will show them how to use it, and also duplicate it in their homes and teach the children. That's all we really do, is teach their children how to use it. They'll teach their parents who don't know how to use these technologies. So that's all good. So that means that we're going to have 50 to 1,000 political leaders actually watching without being here. That saves a lot of money, right? And they cannot tell the difference between these technologies. Now, we have all the connections into the world leaders at the front end of the virtual reality technology revolution, so we can get all the technologies very quick. And the reason we know all this is we've been working for 18 years on live streaming virtual reality music concerts, hence the Live Aid concerts next year that we're going to live stream. So we knew all about the technologies, but they keep changing every 3 months as new ones come out superseding the other ones. So this is what we're doing. We know the technologies, we know where they are. Just package it, deliver the technologies to our delegates, and we're on our way. So if they just want to put down, 20% deposit, then we'll start organising everything, get the technologies to them, teach them how to use them, and we are racing and we're ready to run the conference. Now you must understand, everything we do, virtually everything we do, is outside the box. We don't do things the traditional way. The traditional way is to run a very, very high cost conference. And Professor Peter Newman, who's the world #1 in sustainability, I sent him the conference details and what we wanted to do prior to coming up with the idea of live streaming it out of the skyscraper. And Peter pledged his allegiance and said, I'm in, I'll back you. So he's backing us, right? And by the way, he's the same last name as me, Newman. So Peter is backing us, so I'm coming back to Peter today. I'm going to go and see him and get him to put a video up online saying, I'm in, you got to follow us. And that way we can get access to all those institutional investors that follow him. And when they have a look at this, they love it. They're lining up, they're queuing up to do business with us. Hey, see, what we're doing is we're doing this conference. We'll live stream it. It means it cuts out a lot of work. All we need to do, they don't have to come over here, change the itinerary, they don't have to book into a hotel. They can just have a look at our schedule and say, well, ooh, I want to know about that product he's holding up right there. See that? What that product is and why it costs next to nothing to make. And yet it's twice as strong as cement, twice as strong, right? It's been cleared all through the Australian building trades, and it's what we're building our buildings out of, some of them, right? So they want to know about that? Well, they can just tune in on that particular day. So somehow we, hopefully they speak English, but we can get all the translators in their countries to translate into their nation and then upload it as a webinar, because what we're doing is running webinars using On24, who can handle this, what we need. And we have another company to handle all the technical side. So that's good, isn't it? So we just need for the delegates to watch the conference from the comforts of their own nations without needing to travel here or muck around, because as you know, if you were here with me right now, as you see me right now, that's exactly how you'll see me wearing the hologram technologies and the virtual reality and the augmented reality. So this is like the leading edge of technology. So you want to get involved with us, contact us and register for the conference, and you will be so pleased. And you know, if you are a political leader from Africa in particular, we're focused on Africa, because Africa has the last remaining vital resources. I'm going to speak on the next video why we are going to deliver our shipping containers with the panels here that I just showed you to the indigenous villages who have the world's last remaining resources, because we need resources security for our high-tech manufacturing hubs that we'll be setting up within our client nations, because those high-tech manufacturing hubs need to manufacture hundreds of different environmentally friendly technologies for us to use within the thousands of sustainable villages and the hundreds of sustainable cities in paradise that we'll be building simultaneously, and we want to reach peak production in 3 years' time, which is possible with our multinational quasi-independent organisation corporate structure, with cross-holdings across the second tier supply chain, going up the cross-holdings across the first tier supply chain, and also through the 6 world regional companies that will have the license rights to build and construct these sustainable villages and sustainable cities in paradise on the sides of the rivers, which are our main transport system, with the monorails systems running away from the coast and adjacent to the coast, with compact communities on the monorail system that we dropped into the bush using heavy lift helicopters. Also the same goes on islands of paradise, where we build there as well, using again the monorail systems. Also the jetties, we put it in, and we dig out the sides of the jetties so that the high-speed ships can come in and then skim across the top of the water, because they're aquaplane, they're dual hull, and then they drop down into the deep water beside the jetty, unload, lift up out of the water, and away they go straight across the top of the lagoon. That saves you building billion-dollar deep water ports, which is stupid and limits where you can build these precincts. So we need to share all this information. Remember, we've been 30 years on this project. The multinational quasi-independent organisation corporate structure is very, very important because of the cross-holdings. We re-engineered it off the Toyota system. Yeah, Toyota's so clever. And then also, as I say, we need to tie up the security of resources. So you do that by looking after the indigenous villages who have the actual resources that we want. And then teeing up the mining companies. I've been talking to mining companies over here in Australia, and the ones that align to our vision, we will do them contracts, because we can get those mining rights by looking after those villages, right? Building a sustainable village in 28 days, and they're gonna love it. So I'll do another video on that. So also we got to bringing in oil majors enables us to keep supplying cheap oil for that nation that we work with, or the nations we work with. As long as they have cheap oil, the food price doesn't escalate and the fuel price doesn't escalate. Once that starts to happen, you're going to get rioting. And as I said in the last video, if you spend $40 today on petrol, you're looking at $200 to $400. Up goes the price of fuel, and then you got your riots. Right? History tells the future. Go and check it out. You need to study what happened in the recessions in the past, which is what Harry Dent did, and which is what I did. And it would be good for you to watch the Harry Dent seminar that I have on my YouTube channel, Harry Dent seminar review, which I did half an hour after Harry finished. So it will give you some more insight. So we need to keep the cheap oil in, hence bringing in the oil majors like Saudi Aramco can supply the oil cheap, keep the price down, enable the economy to keep functioning on cheap oil, and have an abundance of oil anyway until we get all our sustainable villages and sustainable cities built within our client nations. And that way, you know, when you look at the high-tech manufacturing hubs we need to build to supply all of our environmentally friendly product lines delivered to our construction sites just on time. So to do that, we need our the cheap fuel, right, and all the manufacturing being done for us. So that's all good, and I'll explain more on that later on. So the energy security is important with the supply of cheap oil. And by bringing in the oil majors and giving them equity, selling them equity in our 6 world regional companies that will have the license for constructing these precincts. Right, now the thing is this, we know that a lot of people are going to try and duplicate what we do. It's not going to work, all right? So, and in the next video, I'm going to talk about it, okay? So, here we go.